系男生花自己的钱去旅行，竟然遭到集美网暴。
A young man spent his own money traveling, yet was cyberbullied by many women. Recently, an 18-year-old college student posted a video of himself traveling, paired with a template caption saying that at 18, he no longer spends money on dating, but instead uses it for meaningful travel. Just that one sentence was enough for some people to catch the scent and swarm in, as the comment section began to cyberbully an 18-year-old student with all kinds of sarcasm and mockery. These women are very skilled at shaming men. As long as they label a man as an involuntary single, then any choice a man makes to live for himself will be twisted into a helpless result of being unable to date. As a result, traveling alone is interpreted as being unable to find a girlfriend, eating barbecue alone means being unable to find a girlfriend, and spending money on oneself is also framed as being unable to find a girlfriend. They are trying to maintain a value system in which men are not allowed to live for themselves, but are supposed to spend their time and money pleasing women. A man's happiness only counts if it receives their approval. The crime of this 18-year-old boy lies precisely in the fact that he bypassed this approval system and demonstrated a new way of living. That low-quality relationships are inferior to high-quality single life. As more and more men come to accept this idea, spend money on themselves, stop being willing to act as suckers, and stop treating female approval as proof of their own value, they can still live very well on their own. Doesn't this cut off certain people's sources of profit? After all, dating is a legitimate way for some people to extract money from men. Do you remember how many gold digger training courses were set up, with many women actually signing up to learn? It is the same logic. They have long been used to treating men's money as their own. When men stop spending money on them, of course they panic. So now they patrol everywhere. Whenever they see men who choose not to date, spend money on themselves and live for themselves, they immediately launch cyberbullying. From mocking appearances to belittling abilities, using harsh language to create public pressure. What they are betting on is that some men will not be able to withstand this kind of PUA, will give up living for themselves, and instead seek a girlfriend to prove their value. This is exactly the outcome they want, to push men back onto the track of pursuing and financially supporting them. But what they do not realize is that the times have already changed. A new generation of many men will never walk the old simp path again. They no longer treat finding a partner as proof of self-worth. In their eyes, being able to live happily, pay for their own passions, and see mountains, rivers, and seas through travel is already a form of small success. Compared to becoming a servant or an ATM just to be in a relationship, clearly living for oneself and spending money on oneself is the most worthwhile way to live.
Similarly, another recent hot topic online has also further awakened Chinese men. A questioning triggered by pocket money exposed the deepest concealment within a marriage. The man who works in sales earns just over 10,000 yuan per month, all of which he hands over to his wife, who is a full-time mother caring for their child, while he keeps only 500 yuan as personal allowance. During the New Year holiday, he wanted to ask for more money to meet friends, and casually asked about the family savings. His wife vaguely claimed it was about 200,000 yuan. This raised his suspicion. After checking the bank card, he discovered that only 20,000 yuan remained. His wife lied that the money had been deposited into Yui Bao, but he took the opportunity to check her phone and found that there were only a few hundred yuan in the account. After repeated questioning, she changed her story again, saying that 300,000 yuan had been lent to a friend who was opening a shop. However, when the man went to this friend and asked for an IOU, the friend directly stated that no money had ever been borrowed. As the layers of lies were exposed, the man checked his wife's phone again and finally discovered the truth. The 300,000 yuan in savings had long been transferred back to her natal family, used for her younger brother's engagement bride price and car purchase. What made him even more disheartened was that his wife had monthly transfer records to her younger brother, with 5,000 yuan transferred just last month to buy a mobile phone. What angered him was not that his wife had lent money to her natal family, but her repeated concealment and deception. The argument that night failed to restore trust, and the next day his wife took the child and returned to her parents' home. The man went to his parents-in-law's house multiple times to demand the savings back, but his father-in-law claimed the money had already been spent and only agreed to write an IOU. After many days of back and forth, both sides finally reached an agreement. The father-in-law took out a loan to return 100,000 yuan, the couple divorced peacefully, and the child's custody was awarded to the man. This ending left the man with mixed emotions. He never expected his wife to favor her natal family to such an extent, nor did he expect that his parents-in-law and his brother-in-law would all think he was being too calculating. The 300,000 yuan was savings he had worked hard to accumulate for the family. The collapse of the marriage ultimately came down to the breakdown of trust. Now that the dust has settled, the 100,000 yuan in savings and custody of the child became the final closure of this marriage, and also served as a warning to all couples. Honesty and boundaries in marriage are indispensable foundations.
关于30万存款，被媳妇借给娘家后续。
Regarding the follow-up on the 300,000 yuan savings that were borrowed by my wife to her natal family. Hello everyone, I am Sales Xiao Chao, and I will talk about the current follow-up on this matter. Today I already went to my wife's parents' home, and also met with her parents to discuss this issue. Their family's current stance is that the money has indeed all been spent, and there is currently no money to repay me. Their proposal is to write me an IOU and repay it after 1 year, which I absolutely cannot accept. Because over so many years, this is all the savings I have accumulated. If this happened to anyone, I believe no one would agree, right? As for what comes next, I may also follow some of the suggestions from the comment section or private messages, and possibly continue down the legal route. If there are any new developments, I will post another video. Thank you all for your attention.
Our society fears nothing more than men beginning to awaken. Male awakening has truly touched the interests of too many vested interest groups. What they hope for most is that men continue to live as they did before, muddle-headed, treating marriage and childbirth as the only life goal, proactively shouldering the burdens of bride price, buying cars and houses, becoming tireless providers, toiling like beasts of burden for the family, while happily comforting themselves that this is a man's responsibility. Only in this way can vested interest groups safely lie on men and suck their blood. For society, men with family burdens have weaknesses that are easy to control. For companies, men carrying the pressure of supporting a family dare not resign easily, making them premium work cattle. For some women, men serve as a safety net, allowing consumption needs to be met through financial transfers. But if men begin to live for themselves, no longer obsessing over marriage and childbirth, and spend their money and energy on themselves, then who will houses be sold to? Who will pay for luxury goods? And where will a female consumer market that relies on male provision go? Without family shackles, how can men be made to willingly become beasts of burden? Therefore, men must be suppressed, and the methods of suppression have continuously evolved. In the past, it was the indoctrination that not spending money means not loving, that men should shoulder more responsibility, making men willingly become providers. Now it is the amplification of female hardship, appearing to speak for women, but in reality making men buy redemption tickets, using money and effort to compensate for so-called gender debts. The core is still to make men pay. Too many men have been suppressed to the point of losing themselves, knowing only how to bury their heads in making money, neither dressing themselves up nor enriching their inner worlds. When you tell them to travel, they say men do not like traveling. You see, they actively castrate their own desires, defaulting to the belief that they need nothing, even with tens or hundreds of thousands of yuan in their pockets. When facing women whose conditions are inferior to theirs, they instinctively feel inferior, cautiously coaxing and pleasing, afraid of upsetting the other party, and willingly handing over the hard-earned money. Men must learn to love themselves, and the most direct manifestation of this is being willing to spend money on themselves. When you're willing to invest in yourself, you become valuable, and you begin to value your own feelings and needs. At that point, no one can PUA you, and you will no longer be kidnapped by so-called male responsibility. You become more confident, and only then can you face relationships calmly and with ease.
The carefree daily life of a 30-year-old divorced man. Today was another day of sleeping until I woke up naturally, then playing games until evening. I originally planned to go swimming, but the sun outside was simply too intense, so tonight I decided to cook for myself and have a little drink. After all, going for foot massage every day would not be very appropriate. Recently, there have been more and more women privately messaging me to scold me, but I believe everyone has the right to choose their own lifestyle. I like this kind of life where I earn my own money and spend it myself, living freely. Is that wrong? You think marriage is a disadvantage for women, but haven't I always said that I am not considering a second marriage? You think I only cover basic dating expenses and call it freeloading, but am I not directly going for foot massages now? So if you have the ability, go shut down all foot massage parlors, otherwise my money is mine to spend however I want. When a few hundred yuan can clearly solve something, there is no way I would gamble tens of thousands of yuan on luck. Besides, have you ever heard of a woman who emptied all her assets to buy a car and a house just to get married? Have you ever heard of a woman who, upon divorce, was divided houses, cars, and assets until she was left destitute? None, right? Instead, there are increasingly more cases of men being deceived into marriage, cheated out of bride price, and discovering that their children are not biologically theirs. Including myself, my experiences with marriage and relationships have not been pleasant. All of this tells me that love today is no longer as pure as it once was. For us men, marriage is an investment with high cost, high risk, and extremely low returns. Isn't there a saying circulating online? In the past, robbers wore veils, but now robbers wear wedding dresses. So stop coming to scold me for being selfish and irresponsible. Did I consume without paying? Did I do anything illegal? I am simply teaching men that no matter when, they must learn to love themselves. The only people I can harm are those older unmarried women and gold diggers who want to get rich through marriage. As for the women who genuinely care about me, I can only say that if dating still means forcing me to spend money to please others, I would rather get foot massages for the rest of my life than spend money being treated like a grandson. If marriage still forces me to single-handedly spend tens of thousands of yuan to bear all the risks, I would rather choose lifelong solitude than make compromises.